Okay. Okay, so we're going to start. Hope I'm sharing my screen. And let's come here. Okay. Let's see if I can pin VS Code over here. This is a bit slow today. This down here. So I think I'll have to sign in and be able to track the progress. Okay, let me sign in with Google. If I can switch sources of this. Can you guys see me? Because I don't know why. Or maybe, I think I get it. I get it. Okay, you guys should be able to, huh, be able to see me in the recording. I think it doesn't allow because, okay, actually, let me try and see if I can use multiple sources for this. Okay. Yes, so you guys can see, I have to adjust this. I think that's slightly better. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue this. Okay, so let's continue with that. Okay. So previously we've gone through setting up VS Code, installing Git on your machine, creating a GitHub account if you don't have one, creating a GitHub repository, generating a token, and then the last session was about HTML and CSS. So basically we're done with introduction and Git, and let's go through this as we get to this project, right? So HTML and CSS intro, we already we had that session last week, uh, and when we come to now, basically knowing what they are, I think that was defined. Both of them are not programming languages, and what they stand for: hypertext markup language, cascading style sheets, how they are used, and what purpose each of them serves in a functioning web page. So I think you have that. And then for the elements and tags. Now this is basically yeah, let's here let's create an index.html file. Now the advantage with having a context editor is because of something like in HTML, when you want to generate the boilerplate, right? Instead of you having to declare that it's HTML5, creating declaring the head and all that. I don't know if uh, okay, this payment application is working right now. I don't know why. Let me see. There are some things that have not synced or what. Because the traditional approach is, you have to come here and start saying HTML. Wow, there are a lot of extensions that are missing in this. So we'll have to install them one by one. Okay, see if GitHub Copilot is installing. Let's wait for those two to finish installing. In the meantime, I think we can also just come back to this page. So by now, I'm assuming that you have some foundation, you know what HTML is. You have a bit of, you've explored tags and elements in HTML, but basically, since HTML is the one that is used to build the layout of a web page, then elements are the components that you can use to build that layout. So you have something like a heading, you have a paragraph, uh, the different kinds of headings from heading 1 to heading 6. You have a div, which is used to group elements. So basically, headings are just the building blocks, right, or the components that you use to build the layout. And then the tags is now the syntax of the elements, right? The syntax. So like if this is, you want to put a paragraph, this is its syntax, right? This is how you declare a paragraph. So this is what we call a tag, right? So opening tag in HTML, you will have opening angle brackets, then the name of the element, and then closing angle brackets. That will make up its opening tag. And the closing, the only difference with opening is you put a forward slash. Is this forward? Yeah, this is a forward slash before the name of the element inside the angled brackets. So Let's see if this has finished installing. Yeah, I think it's done installing. Close that. Okay, this thing is a bit slow today, so you have to bear with me on that. I'm expecting some. Let's see if there's something important over here. Yeah, there's the important, nothing important there. So yeah, as I was saying, normally what we'll have is you'll have to write HTML. And I think even when you're writing the basic you'll be writing the basic code in your class. This is what you'll be doing, right? So intro to HTML. Let me just write the ending here as well. Yeah. Let me want to see if this is gonna be, is it going to format this? Okay, I think I need to set that. So this we've just installed this in extension called prettier code formatter. So let's let's see here. We want, so you'll search here format. Now sometimes you'll find that you have some people like to use auto format on. I don't know, did I type here because I'm not seeing any changes. I don't know if am I lagging. So file auto save, no, this one should be off, or I like to have it off. Format on save, yes, and then the default formatter that we want to use is this prettier code formatter, right? This extension that we just installed. So that is what we want to have, and let's now come here and try to save this. So if I save this file, okay, let me make some changes here. So I think I can just put okay, let's put a heading one that says hello all. We save that. There should be prettier down here. I'm not seeing that. Okay, let me try and restart VS Code to see if that will help. If that can help restart it. I used to get this window. I also need to pin this to the taskbar. Okay. So pin to taskbar. I also need to pin this to taskbar so that I don't have to keep going to the home page every time I close it. Okay. Yes. So I think it's not yet initialized, so I'll have to go back to settings yet again. So let me see if I can go back to settings. Let's have I don't know if it's search for format. Okay, this is rather slow, like extremely slow. I don't know why this is behaving like that. Yes. So the boilerplate. So this the HTML5 declaration, and you have to start it with that every single time. So to avoid that, that's why we use mostly use Emmet for that. Now, let me see, let's have that. No, let me wait for this. Okay, 137 settings found. Okay, thank you. So format on save is enabled. Default formatter is prettier. Okay, yeah, thank you. Now we got that activating extensions message down here. Now, I think I also have, yeah, live servers already started. Now, prettier is over here. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. I don't know where it went again, but yeah, I think it's default formatter is prettier and format on save is enabled. Those are the two key settings in that site. Let me just put this here for now. Shift tab to move it to the beginning. And then let us see. Okay. Now let's see, I'm getting some error over here. Formatting completed. Okay, it's no longer giving that error. Let's go live. So, so okay, so for this part, you can just allow access. There's no harm in that. Actually, for I think someone was asking about having encountered an error with the live server every time I don't know if this is lagging or okay, yeah, we have our intro to HTML title over here, and we have our heading one that says hello world. So yes, let me see if this Emmet is now working. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So you put an exclamation mark and you get that, and if you do that, it generates this for you. So with that, you can just for those defaults, you can just come here, edit intro to HTML again. I think the other one is capital. Confirm. It's capital. So the first letter is capital. Let's have all of this capital. HTML. And let's have this as still have the heading one. Now, I think the issue the other time was these extensions had not yet loaded. That's why I couldn't access. You see, I was trying to write H1 and right now when I write H1, I get this. Initially, when I was doing that, I wasn't getting this. So I had to like type myself those things. But for now, yeah. So let's save that. Now, the moment I save, right, this live server is supposed to refresh that here. And we indeed do get that. So in terms of the HTML boilerplate, okay, yeah. So in terms of the HTML boilerplate, you see like other than this line, right? Right. So you can use control and forward slash control and forward slash to what is it? To comment and uncomment a line with from your keyboard. So this is the only piece of code that you can say we've added. Otherwise, you see all this part, you have to like declare which type of HTML it is. Then you have to have a header, you can have a title over here. If you had, let's say, you go to most websites, you'll see they have their icon, but for ours, we don't have one, right? So if you had an icon, you're also gonna put that here in the header. And then now for the body, this is what is going to be shown here. And in terms of even maybe some search engine optimization, you can also put some things in the header to help maybe to indicate what your website is about. Now, let's come back to here in terms of the HTML element. We are familiar with that right now. This language, you'll get that pre-generated. You may omit it, but yeah, it specifies the language and allows, you see, like, have you ever visited a site and Google asks you, you get a pop-up with a translator that asks you, do you want to translate this from Spanish to English? That's because that website indicated that it's in Spanish, and Google knows your default language is English, so it will ask you, do you want to translate that? And in the head, you'll have title. If you had an icon, you put that there. Some other things you learn as you keep developing and working on projects. Now, in terms of viewing HTML files, if you open an HTML file with in VS Code, of course you get the code. And if you open it with this Notepad, right, you can also open it with Notepad, and you'll also get the actual code. But if you open it with a browser, then you're going to get, you can see in here we are getting this. There's no HTML elements over here. It has been rendered by the browser, right? So in terms of in this tutorial, we're gonna be recommended to use Chrome, and I think most of us already do that, unless if you're on Linux. I think the default is Firefox, but either way, all will work just as well. VS Code shortcuts. Now, you can see, like, instead of writing all that, they're also telling you that you can just type this, and you get that Emmet abbreviation. And with that, yeah, so you can see there are always some of these links that help you, like what's the purpose of body element, and that it encloses everything that your website is displaying. But yeah, you'll find like those they'll always be somewhere around at the bottom, or maybe towards the end. You get those, and if you don't know that, then you can visit that page to learn more about that. So this is working with text, right? So in the elements that you have available, if in your web page, of course, you're trying to display something, right? You're trying to display something. So you might be, if it's a recipe website, you see, what are you going to have there? You're going to have maybe an image of the food that you are trying to show people. Like if right now I try and search a chapati recipe, right? You see, I'll get an image of chapati, and then a title that it's going to tell me, and then there'll be some text for the ingredients and the steps to follow, right? So assuming that's our end goal, right? Assuming that's or anything, like be it an e-commerce platform, you're gonna have an image for the product, and then some text to show the price, to show the name of the product. So those are the common things that our website will have. You can either present something in text, or in image, or in video, right? So if you're presenting it in text, there are several things that you have available at your disposal to use when doing this. So you have paragraphs, right? Paragraphs is, writing composition. You write a title and then several paragraphs in between. So a paragraph is just a block of continuous text, right? Most likely spanning, let me say, multiple sentences. I think, yeah, multiple sentences will form a paragraph. That's the definition of a paragraph, I think. So you have multiple sentences joined together to form a block. That block will be called a paragraph. And then you have headings that mostly to indicate maybe the key points or what the paragraph is about. And then now you'll have bold and italic, right? These are things that allow you to highlight a part of your text, right? So let's say in this part you can see that this is bold as compared to this one, right? So if you put something in bold, it becomes easier for someone to see. So like uh, if we can come back to our chapati recipe example, yeah, even in this you can see this is the same text, but this one is bold and this other one is not, right? So, and even here, when you're saying ingredients, this is in bold and this one is just normal, right? So you use that to highlight. And even let's say when you are quoting something, so maybe you're trying to quote someone that so and so said this and this, you can put that in quotes and you can italicize it so that it stands out. But yes, this is basically to just highlight a specific part of the text from the entire paragraph or sentence. And then you can nest these elements. There are some that cannot be nested, but you'll find that when building the website layout, you'll find that you can have like this one, right? You can see this one. All these are under this one, right? So these are grouped together, and this is their title, ingredients. So if you were to group this, you'd have a div that contains all this. You not necessarily you sort of must for you to give it, but if you were to like group it together, then this all these are ingredients being listed, right? So you're going to have you have a div which is an element that is like a container. Then you sort of like in most scenarios, let's say you have your cooking ingredients, you have your tomatoes or onions, you're going to put them somewhere in a container, right? So similarly, you use containers in HTML like div to group some maybe you want to group some paragraphs together, maybe you want to group two images together. Yeah, so the containers allow you to have a specific layout that you want, right? It allows you to have a specific layout, similar to how, what is the definition of a container, right? Something that is just used to store something. You can have a rectangle container if you're talking about water, right? You can have maybe a 20 liter, you can have a bucket, you can have a basin. So all of those are categorized as containers. So similarly, a div as a container can take in any number of things. But now there are some things that you cannot nest. For example, a button. You know that a button is you're supposed to click on it for some action to take place. So can you imagine if you have two buttons, right? A bigger button and a smaller one. So when someone clicks on the smaller one, it is still within the bigger button. So it will be like that bigger button where the smaller one is, you can't click on it, right? So I hope you're getting. I hope I'm not confusing anyone. So in terms of this point of having nested elements, so a container can contain several things. So similarly, if you have your ingredients, they can all be in one container, but you cannot have maybe an ingredient in an ingredient, right? Something like that. Yeah. So and then how to create HTML comments. So I think we saw this example over here. You have these opening angle brackets with this exclamation followed by two hyphens or dashes, whichever you may choose to call them, and it's ending with the dashes and a right angled bracket, right? So what will you expect the following text to output on an HTML page? So body and there is just text. So if it's just text, it's just going to be like that, right? So I think we can also just copy. No, I think they've already run it for us, so there's no need to for us to copy that again. So yes, I think this is also another thing. When the browser encounters new lines like this in HTML, it will compress them down into single space. The result of this compression is that now anything that you put inside body, if you did not put it maybe in a paragraph or in a heading, it's still just going to be rendered as it is, right? So only the tags are used to recognize which text need to be rendered on differently. Now let's see if we have some how to put headings. So we have H1 to H6, and you can try all that to see the difference. Okay, actually, I think we can copy this. It's not that much. Let's see. Let's copy this and see what is the difference in their sizes, right? So let's have that. That was H1. Let's give some 2 lines and paste that. So let's come here. So you can see we have live server reloading for us. So this is a heading 1 similar to this, and then we have 2 which is smaller, 3 smaller, 4 smaller, 5 and 6 which is very small. So other than that, let's see what we have. So strong element. Now strong element in it actually is also another thing. When it comes to web development, you'll realize that there are some people who are disabled, right? That's why if you've ever gone through your phone settings, you'll find that there are some things like you can go to the settings and enhance. I think there's a setting called accessibility, and basically what that will do is it allows someone who is blind to also be able to use a smartphone. So you'd be thinking, how will they, you see, on your part, you use your eyes to see, oh, this is the home button and this. So if you enable accessibility for someone who's in your phone, what it's going to do is, let's say when you click on something, in our case, when you click something, that is considered clicking on it. But in the case of someone who is blind on their phone, when they click on something, the first click is used to say what that is. So let's say if I click on the home button, it's going to tell me that is the home button. If I click somewhere else on my screen, it's going to tell me that is whatever that is. Then if now I have heard what it is and I know that's what I want, then I can double tap on it to to now be able to open or click on that thing. So basically, similarly in HTML, when making a website, when someone imagine that that person has their phone is reading the website for them, right? So if you use bold, I think we talked about bold and italic. If you use bold, this text looks bold, right? This text looks bold, but for when the phone is reading it for them, they are not going to know that it is bold, right? So it's just going to continue without them knowing. That's why there were some elements that were added to provide that accessibility. So strong element is what you should use instead of bold in your website. So if you're trying to make your website accessible to everyone, then you can have strong. You can use strong instead of bold to make it possible for them to be able to use that. And then an EM, right? An EM is used to make text italic, because if you make your text italic, it's also not going to know. They won't know. But if you use EM, the screen reader, that the phone is going to emphasize that word for them, right? Now, in terms of nesting and indentation, nested elements. So basically anything you can see, like in this one, you have actually from the very beginning, you have HTML. In HTML, there is head. In head, there is title. And then you have body, which is in HTML. And in body, you have maybe a H1 or a paragraph in this case, right? So that is already nesting that you're doing. HTML comments, we've gone through that. And we can go to the next lesson, lists, right? So lists, in our example of having our chapati recipe, you can see that there is this bullet points, right? This is you're trying to list the things, right? So There are two types of lists in HTML. You have ordered list and unordered list. So I think we can come here and let's go with so let's try and just write that chapati recipe. Right. So in here, you're supposed to give a list of ingredients that people need. So let's have H3 that says ingredients. And now you have UL and OL. UL stands for unordered list, right? So I think for this one, let's just say UL1, and you can use so there are some VS Code shortcuts that you can pick up along the way. What I did is just funny. Okay. So basically in this UL, you're not going to have multiple of them. You're gonna have an li, which now stands for list, and this is now what is you're gonna have as multiple values. So they are contained in one of these, and then I think I can just select all of this and copy it down. Then change this to OL for ordered list, and change this to OL again to save me a bit of time. Let's have that OL as well. So let's save that. So we have an ordered list, three of them, and we have ordered list, three of them. Let's take a look at what we have over here. So you can see an ordered list is going to use bullet points, while ordered list is going to number them. So from 1, 2, 3. And that is the difference between an ordered and ordered list. So for something like, you see, like when you're giving, let's say, something like a recipe, ingredients, the order doesn't matter, right? So you want an unordered list, because if you have salt first and sugar later, or sugar then salt, that doesn't matter, as long as in the end you have all the ingredients. But when in terms of you're telling someone now the steps of cooking, you're not going to put chapati on the pan, and you've not baked the flour yet, right? So the steps have to be ordered, and that's where you're going to have to use ordered list. So you have that. Now I think we've gone through that. An ordered list is UL, ordered list is OL, and we come here. We'll continue to the next lesson. Links and images. Links and images. So you can see when you're creating a website, right? Let's say right now you had your friend share a TikTok link, YouTube, a link to a YouTube channel, and all that. So in a web page, you can also provide your links. Like if we see at the bottom here, right? Let me see. Let's go all the way to knowledge check. You can see all these. These are links. If I hover over this, you can see at the bottom left of my screen, it's going to show me where this part is going to show me where this link goes, right? So you can see where it redirects me to. So these are, as we say, the content that you can put can either be text, and we've covered that. It can be an image, or it can be maybe like in this case, or a video, or you can even have a link that takes someone to another page, right? So let's say your blog is about maybe best fonts of 2025. At the end of that, maybe you may want to include links where someone can go and buy that font. So link is you'll use an anchor tag. An anchor tag is a, right? And we have that. And a link has, and you have to provide an address. That is this href. You have to provide the address where the link is going to point to. So in this scenario, let's just say this is github.com, and then you're going to say follow me on GitHub, right? So let's add that link and see what we get. You can see we have this link. If I hover over it, you can see it's telling me that. Now, I did not put the HTTPS, which is why you can see there's some other things that is coming. So let's put that HTTPS with that, so that it doesn't try to redirect me on localhost, right? So yeah, so it recognizes that now that is what you can add your www.github, but since you can omit it, I don't see the reason why you should include it. Now, if I click on it, you can see it's going to take me to GitHub, but that's not where we want to go right now. So let's go back. Now we are back on our page, and we can see now there are some behaviors that you can change from there. So in this example, let's say now you can if you don't want someone to leave your website, you can have this target, and you're gonna say blank. So basically, when someone clicks on it, it's going to take them to a new page. And the reason why you want to have that, let's say someone was doing your link, you don't want them to have to use this back button maybe to be able to like come back and do something, because maybe you gave them a link to Amazon. Now they are now viewing some products on Amazon. For them to even be able to like find where you're to go back all the way to your website, it's too much. That's why you may want, when they click on this, it opens in a new window, and if they see and then they can come back. Maybe if you had several you are recommending several products, they can come and click on another one, and like that. So you can even look at this in this scenario. Once we get down here, we have this button here that says next lesson. This is also a link, and you can see here it shows me where it leads, right? That's the address that it's going to take me to. So this is also a link. So if you have, let's say, when you see like when you see, let's say you have an e-commerce website, someone is viewing a product, for them to go to the details, like if you see any e-commerce, you're going to have several products, and if you click on one, it will take you to the page of that product. And then if you click on add to cart, it's going to add to cart, and if you click on the cart, it's going to take you to a page where you can view items in your cart. So all those are also links, because they take you to a different uh, either website or a different section of the same website that you're currently in. But I think in terms of links, it's very straightforward. As long as you're using VS Code, you just have that A tag. That A tag is going to give you this href. And also, if you know you're gonna have this target blank, there's no need for you to wait. Then you come and write that yourself. So you can see it also gives you some options. So if I click on this, you can see it's already telling me, it's already written this for me. So I just need to put here github.com, right? And I need to put, if I press tab, actually you can see there was some highlighting over here. If I press tab, it brings me here, or you can just click it yourself, and you can put some text over here. Now there's something else here that has also been added, and it says no opener, no referrer. Basically, these are just some advanced settings for this URL. Basically, this is also used when you say no referrer. This is useful when you want to redirect someone to a different site, but you don't want to mention the site they are from, right? Okay, for the most part, that is useful. Let's say you want to refer anonymously, and for most, like maybe if you are referring to Amazon and you're not earning any commission from Amazon, then you will just say, don't say that they came from my website. Or if you are earning something, then you're not going to have that option, so that maybe Amazon can see, oh, these are the number of people that have been coming maybe from your website. Now, we've taken a look at, let's come back here. Let's see. So in terms of links, we've taken a look at that. An anchor tag, we have that. And then let's see what else. Opening links in a new tab, we've covered this. This no referrer, we now know what it does, and you can see here also the referrer value of the rel attribute provides both privacy and security. It prevents the new page from knowing where the user came from. So yeah, also includes the behavior of no opener, preventing the new page from accessing the original page. So yeah, I I don't feel normally use this, but also you can see here you've been told that when you say no opener, it means if you're taking someone to Amazon, that website which is now Amazon cannot be able to know they came from your website, and they cannot open your website, right? Yeah. They not really open, but accessing, right? Accessing. Now, with that, I think we've covered that. Then we have absolute and relative links, right? So in this, okay, let's see. Yeah. Now, when you'll be creating a website, for external links, you're gonna have just direct. You have to specify. I don't know. Let me see here. You see, we had to specify this part HTTPS, right? For it to take us to GitHub. Now, if I remove this part, right, and we come back to this page, if I hover over on this, you see at the bottom left, you see here it's showing me that it's on this local host, but github.com. Now, if I click on this, it's gonna try to take me to it's gonna try to take me to localhost, and it's going to try and get this page from localhost, and I don't have such a page, so it's not going to get anything there. But now, when working on a website, you will see you will have your a website will have an about page, a contact us page, a home page. So you see all those. Let's say maybe this is our home page. If we have an about, the user is going to be in our website slash about. Now, this is a relative link, right? I don't have to specify this prefix. The moment I just say slash about, it's going to automatically take them within the same page, within the same website, but on the about page. So in this scenario, you can see here, instead of github.com, I, if I have here slash about, I want to change the text for now. Yes. So if I hover on top of this, bottom left says we are in, I don't know, do I need to, I don't know if I should increase the size, but yeah. So I click on this, you can see it's going to take me on slash about. Now, if I created that page, then that will be shown. But since I don't have that, then that is okay. And we come to now images, right? So you have images. So if you want to add an image also, it's just img, short for image, and you're going to give it a source. In our scenario, we don't have an image right now, so what we're going to do, we're going to take an image of chapati. Let's see what we have over here. No, this doesn't look like. I think this looks okay. I think this looks okay. Oh, this one, the soft ones. This one, I'm not sure if this is this copy image address. That's what we want. No. This image, when the ones that you copy from the internet are usually long. So if I paste this one, you can see it's long. Now, I think on that, let me actually also enable something else. We have what is this called? Line what? What is it called? What is it called? It's not line height. Is it line width? Or what is it called? Okay, so I don't remember what the name is called. For it to collapse this so that it doesn't exceed, you see, like right now, if I want to do something, I have to like go through this, and this thing is long, like you can see here, like all this, and show more, like it even has a show more, like this thing is just so long. Now this alt, you just provide like a description so that in case the image is not found, it can have a description. So like this one, we can say this is chapati, so that if this image is not found, a user can know that what we had tried to show them was an image of chapati. So let's come back here and we have our chapati image over here. Very nice one. So basically just write img on your VS Code, you get that. Now let's see. So for most of these things, they're very basic, and you learn more as you keep using them, right? And then in terms of parent directories, also this one, if we had an image, let's say assuming we had this image in let's say it is our folder and we have a folder known as images, then it would be easy to just say maybe let me try and add another image where we show that. So you can see for this one, if I just write a slash and then I get these images. Now, if I had something here, I would have said maybe image.png. So if you had an image there, it would have shown, and then you can choose it, or you can type the name and the extension name. And with that, we'll just have that as image. Now, this will also be good. Since that image cannot be found, this will also be good to show what happens in this scenario. You can see when the image is missing, it's going to show that text that you put. Now, I think we'll finish with this for today. So I think we have now, in terms of having a local image. Now this talks about parent attribute. Now, if we were assuming this index was in another folder and this is another different, so you can see like you also have something like if you do Linux, if you were to use Linux, you learn about the parent directory and current directory, right? So a dot is used, a dot or full stop is used to represent the current directory, and two dots or two full stops are used to represent the parent directory. So in this scenario, we have an intro folder, and an intro folder has an images folder, right? So that's why in the current, I'm right now inside here. That's why I can access images with a dot, right? And even I can access HTML and the README. So I can access the README, and in this scenario, the moment you write dot, it's going to take the current. If I put a slash, it's gonna include the folders in that suggestion. And if I put a double and I put a slash, it's going to give me folders. I add another one. So basically, you can just keep going back one step, one step, one step. And yeah, I think that's similar to this. Let me see if I can show with this one. Let me use this folder. Let me see. This is a bit slow, but let's see. Okay. So yeah, so you can see if I come to this PC and I come to or disk C, you can see what you are getting here, right? I have this up button, right? So if I maybe I go to users, you can see I have this back button, right? So this will go back once, one will go back by one, which is this is the current. So we are in this PC, then we are in local disk C, and we are in users. If I go to public, you see we will just be in nested folders. Now, when you are in this nested folder, if you use this back button, it's going to take you up by one to the parent directory of that, so which is this one. So if I use this once, it's going to take me to users. I use it again, it's going to take me to local disk C. Yeah. So basically that is similar to the dot and the dot dot. Just taking back to the dot dot will take you back to the parent, you use it again, take you to the parent. Yeah. And then the image has width and height, and it's a good it's good to specify this so that even when the browser is not doesn't it doesn't fit in a browser, it can be able to know how to in what ratio it should resize the image, right? So let's say if you have a rectangular image, the width should be more than the height. And if you have, let me say, a flipped uh, rectangular image, or even a square, if it's a square image, then you're going to have equal width and height, right? So the reason why you want to specify that is so that even on a let's assume you have in if this is you're building for a desktop, right? You'll see if you want an image to occupy the entire screen, it's going to be the length is going to be more than the height. But on a mobile, the height is more than the length, right? Your phone is vertical. It's a vertical rectangle, and uh, your laptop or monitor is horizontal. So you see, like when you specify that, even when the browser is trying to resize the image to fit the mobile, it's going to respect that ratio in that. It's not going to make the image. Of course, you could force it, but it's not recommended that you have an image that doesn't look good because if an image was created to, I think it's called stretching, right? So you don't want an image to stretch. Like if this image, let's pick any random image over here, right? Like this image. If this image is looks like this on mobile, that is okay. But if I try to have this occupy this entire page, it's not going to fit because you can see the dimensions here and from here all the way to here. This height is more than the width or length. So with that, I think we have come to the end of this. So let's just see what we have in store for next time. And then, so if you have any questions, you can ask them in the group as you're going through this. If you experience, yeah, so this is basically to Git. I think if we are to check on, if we are to check on where we reached, let me try and see that. So let's take a look at what we've been able to see here. You can see we've done this and we are now here. So the next thing is going to be a project for creating a recipe website. So in this one, you can try, before we meet on Saturday, you can try to work on this. If you encounter any issues, do try to ask for help in the WhatsApp group. And then see, you can see there's nothing much if you've been following. This is HTML introduction, and before you get to CSS, you need to work on something small. So try to work on this so that when we meet on Saturday, if you don't have it, uh, the if you don't have it, that means you experience some issues. Then we can be able to discuss it during that time. And if you are able to do it, then we can review the code and see how it looks and give you feedback on that. So that will make that brings us to the end of today. So I think we can stop the session there unless anyone has any question. Does anyone have any question? Okay, that's the end of today's session. We shall meet on Saturday for the physical session where we'll be taking a look at that project. Yeah, feel free to leave